Good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss with the topic unnatural balance, which is our third chapter. In this chapter we will discuss about the following topics: food for plants, parasitic plants, carnivorous or insectivorous plants, food for animal, interdependence, food chain, food web, extension of the living organism. Now the last one is homework. Now as we are knowing that animals, plants and humans are living creatures on the earth, and their number should not, anyone's number should not increase too much, because they will cause adverse effect on the remaining two. So that in that condition there will be a balance. Now all living things need food to survive. All animals are dependent on the plants for food, shelter, and oxygen, while green plants make their own food. Humans and plants eat different types of food and acquire it in different ways. The food for plants. Plants need sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water to live. Green plants are called producer because they make their own food. Now the process by which the plants make their own food, which is called photosynthesis, the process in which plants prepare their own food in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, and water. This process takes place on the leaves. Now we are knowing about the sunlight and the carbon dioxide which we get from the environment, chlorophyll which is a component of the leaf, and water we get from the soil. The greens, what is chlorophyll? The chlorophyll is the green substance in plants that takes light from the sun for photosynthesis. The energy is absorbed by the main function of the chlorophyll is to absorb the energy from the sun. Water and minerals are absorbed by the root and they are carried to the other parts of the plant. Carbon dioxide is absorbed through tiny pores of the leaves called stomata. Now the what is photosynthesis? The reaction of the photosynthesis. As we are knowing that carbon dioxide we get from the atmosphere, water from the ground, and as the next thing, energy from the sunlight which we get from the sun, and chlorophyll that present on the leaves. They when they come together, when they combine together, the product which will be formed, that is glucose and oxygen. A portion of glucose which is formed as a product, that will be used by the plant for their growth, and remaining is stored as starch. Starch is a sugar in different parts of the plant like roots, stem, leaves, seeds, and fruits. In this picture, you are able to see that sun and the plant is getting the water from the soil, and the photosynthesis take place on the leaves, and oxygen will be released in the atmosphere. Now the parasitic plants. They are the plants that obtain nutrition by growing on other plants are called parasitic plants. The plants on which the parasitic plants feed are called host plants. Means the parasitic plants are depending on the other plant. They need for the nutrition, and the plant on which they are depending, that plant is known as host plant. These plants attach themselves firmly to the stem or root of the host plant to absorb nutrient. That is the main purpose why they are depending on the host plant. For example, Rafflesia doror and mushroom, which is a non-green plant. In this picture you are able to see the mushroom and Rafflesia, which is the largest flower in the world. Carnivorous or insectivorous plants means they are very different plants. The plants that obtain nutrition by eating small animals such as insects, flies, and bugs are called carnivorous or insectivorous plants. These plants, why they eat insects? For the fulfillment of the nitrogen. As we are knowing that nitrogen is also very important for the growth of the plant, they fulfill that requirement from the insects. That's why they feed the insects. All carnivorous plants derive energy from the sun and depend on animals for the nutrition. For example, pitcher plant, sundew plant, Venus flytrap, etc. In this picture you are able to see the pitcher plant Venus flytrap. Pitcher plant has a lid and the Venus flytrap has jaw-like projection. If any insect will come in the contact of that plant, they will close the lid, they will close their jaws, and the insect will die inside the part of the plant. Now the food for animals. Now the food for animals. The animals who are depend on the plants as well as on other animals for food are called consumers. Means basically there are two categories. First one producer, second one consumers. The next thing, classification on the basis of kinds of food that animals eat. First one, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, scavengers, decomposers. First one, herbivores. Herbivores are the animals who only depend on the plants, like crows, deer, and elephants. Carnivores, they are the animals who feed on other animals like tigers, lion, leopard. Omnivores, they are the animals who feed on both plants and animals are called omnivores like crows, cockroaches, and bears. Scavengers, they are the animals who keep the environment clean by eating the dead animals called scavengers. Like hyenas, vultures, and crows. Decomposers, the animals that obtain their food by consuming dead and decaying plants and animals are called decomposers like bacteria, fungi, and earthworms. Now, the very important topic, that interdependence. What is the meaning of interdependence? It is the dependence of two or more living organisms on each other. Means if we are talking about plants and animals, yes, we are interdependent on each other for our needs. Plants depend on animals for carbon dioxide. Insects such as bees and birds help in seed dispersal, and earthworm help to make the soil fertile for growth. Animals and humans depend on plants for food, oxygen, for shelter also, and human being depend on plants for other needs such as clothes and medicines. It is not only this much, there are too many uses why we are depending on the animals, why we are depending on the plants. But the thing is, we are interrelated, we are interdependent. Now the food chain. The chain formed when plants are eaten by animals and then these animals are eaten by other animals is called food chain. I will explain by the example also. Food chain shows how energy is passed from the sun to producer, from producer to consumer, and from consumer to decomposers. Now here two diagrams are given: food chain on water and food chain on land. In food chain on water, the sun is by sun the plant is getting the energy and the plant will grow, and on that plant the shrimp will feed, and that shrimp is will eaten by the smaller fish, and another that fish is eaten by some other fish, and that fish will be eaten by some other, and that later that fish will be eaten by some other animal whose name is given osprey. It may be crow, it may be eagle, it may be vulture, anything will be there who will feed on that bigger animal. Means you can see the chain on the in the water. Now you one more example, that food chain on land means the flower which is eaten by the caterpillar, and the caterpillar will be eaten by the frog, and the frog will be eaten by the snake, and later the snake will be eaten by owl, vulture, or by eagle. This is called the chain. Means one organism is related to the other organism. Now the second one is very important, food web. Food chain does not exist independently in nature. Means it can't exist independently. Food web is the natural interconnection of the food chain. Means, as we saw in the food chain, the animals are dependent on each other, and in food web each food chain are interconnected. Food chain and food webs maintain a natural balance. Because of the food chain and food webs, they create a natural balance in the population of living things on the earth. Animals, plants, birds, and marine species are as important as human beings. If the population of the one organism increases or decreases, the entire food chain will get disturbed. Means, if there will be too much fishes and there will be no one to eat them, means in the particular area of the water, in the particular area of the pond, there will be too much fishes. That is very harmful for the pond. Now, the picture means the plants are eaten by the squirrel, crows, caterpillar, and the butterflies. Now, the butterfly is again eaten by the frogs. Maybe the caterpillar will also be eaten by the frog. The bird it may be eaten by the bird. Now, in the next chain, maybe frog will be eaten by the eagle or snake, and this bird will be eaten by the wolf. And after that, when the wolf will be killed, when the snake will be killed, that will be eaten by the eagle or vulture. This is called the food chain. Now, extension of the living organism. Means, extension means the if any community of the organism is going to be end. Ecosystem, a community of interacting organism and their physical environment is called community. Ecosystem means we are related with the plants, we are related with the soil also, we are related with the water also. Means there is interconnection, we are related with our ecosystem, with our environment. This is called the ecosystem. Endangered species, an animal or plant species that are in danger of becoming extinct, means they are about to end. In animals, there are I have given some examples like Asian elephant, Bengal tiger, etc. They are the endangered species. It is very important to conserve the population of endangered species, because if they all will be lost, then we are not going to have that kind of variety in future. It happens because the endangered means the killing of the a particular type of species. This cause increase or increase in the number of the remaining organism on whom they feed. Means it happens because of an increase in the number of predators, climate change, or loss of habitat. We heard about the dinosaurs who died because of the climate change, because there are different reasons for the extinction of the species. Now, the homework is: what is photosynthesis? What is parasitic plants? What is food chain and food web? Explain with the help of example what are endangered species. This is all about this chapter. Thank you.